China has marked the 90th founding anniversary of the People's Liberation Army with a grand military parade on Sunday in North China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. Chinese President Xi Jinping inspected the troops. More than 12,000 service personnel took part in the parade, and over 600 pieces of military hardware were displayed. It was the first time for China to commemorate Army Day with a military parade since the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949. We'll show you some of its highlights.
我坚信，我们的英雄军队有信心、有能力打败一切来犯之敌。
Official data show China's manufacturing sector expanded for the 12th consecutive month in July. Data issued by the National Bureau of Statistics show the index for China's manufacturing purchasing managers, or PMI, came in at 51.4 for July. The figure was down from 51.7 in June. A rating above 50 indicates expansion, while a rating below shows contraction. The PMI has remained between 51 and 52 over the past 7 months. NBS senior statistician Zhao Qinghe attributed a slower expansion to sustained hot weather across China and rainstorms and floods in certain regions. Sub-indices for production and new orders came in at 53.5 and 52.8 respectively, down from 54.4 and 53.1 last month. Zhao said the narrower gap between them suggests an improved supply and demand relationship. External demand growth also decreased, with a sub-index for new export orders falling to 50.9 from 52 in June. Former Chilean President Ecuador Frei says relations between Chile and China have progressed to the high-tech sector. Frei said the two countries have cooperated not only in trade, but also in research areas such as astronomy, fiber optics, and investigation in Antarctica. Chile and the Chinese Academy of Sciences signed an agreement last year. Cooperation is strong, with 15 Chinese astronomers currently working in Chile. In 2016, 10 Chilean astronomers traveled to China for scientific exchange.
China is interested in building a world-class astronomical observatory. Chile is a world power in astronomy. More than 50% of the astronomical centers in the world are in Chile, including the ALMA telescope array, the largest in the world.
The president said Chile also hopes to enhance cooperation with China on research in Antarctica.
Segundo,
Chile has an airbase in Antarctica, where was inaugurated by President Frei, my father, almost 50 years ago. There is also a Chinese base nearby. We can collaborate on work there.
Frei added Chile is investigating fiber optics as they are rare in much of the southern hemisphere.
tenemos sistema.
We have no fiber optic system. We have therefore been working with China for a year. We are carrying out a study and will visit Shenzhen during the Chinese event, the Week of Chile, to make progress on a fiber optic connection between China and South Africa, which could include the polar route.
Polar.
The Chilean government said in June it is working with China to install an underwater fiber optic cable between the two countries. It would be the first underwater fiber optic cable to connect Asia with Latin America directly. The cable would help increase interconnectivity, trade, investment, as well as scientific and cultural exchanges between two continents. Typhoon Haitang landed in Fuqing City in East China on Monday morning. This is China's 10th typhoon this year. The tropical cyclone arrived with winds at a top speed of 18 meters per second. It follows Typhoon Nesset, the 9th one this year, which landed in the same city on Sunday. Fuqing's local government ordered officials and volunteers to increase patrols to ensure public safety as heavy rain hit the city. Typhoon Haitang made landfall on Sunday in Putang on the island of Taiwan. In Lhasa, capital of Tibet Autonomous Region, the 11th Panchen Lama, Panchen Erdini Kwejijabu, has performed several Buddhist services. The Panchen Lama held a head-touching ritual for Buddhists at his Lhasa residence on Sunday morning.
I feel honored to receive the head-touching blessings by Panchen Lama.
The Panchen Lama visited Jokham Temple on Thursday, where he led a prayer service. Jokham Temple is the most revered monastery in Lhasa. The Panchen Lama made a tour of the temple, where he presented a hada to a life-sized statue of Buddha, the Sakyamuni. Hada is a long, scarf-like white silk used by the Tibetans for blessings. The Panchen Lama is due to hold more Buddhist services and activities across Tibet in the next few days. Gaitsan Norbu, born in 1990 in northern Tibet, became the 11th Panchen Lama in 1995 after a tradition lot drawing ceremony at Jokham Temple. Shaolin Temple in central China's Henan province is the cradle of China's martial arts. On Sunday, it set a stage for martial arts competition. Over 100 fight enthusiasts took part. China Report takes a closer look. Shaolin Temple's two-day competition featured 4 traditional events: Iron Palm Kung Fu, Stone Lock Kung Fu, Two-Finger Zan, and Flying Knife Kung Fu. The winner of the Iron Palm event was Zhang Longxiang, who broke 8 breaks in one stroke of his hand. He first began practicing martial arts at the age of 10 and has been doing Iron Palm training for over 2 decades.
Shaolin Temple has become a good platform for us to communicate among our martial arts lovers. This is a good opportunity.
The Shaolin Temple is renowned across China and the world as a hotspot of traditional martial arts practices. Some 500 Hong Kong college graduates have spent 15 days at a military camp belonging to the Chinese People's Liberation Army garrison in Hong Kong. Hong Kong's 13th military life experience for graduates closed on Sunday with a special ceremony. The students have been in training for half a month. As the training came to an end, the students showed off what they've learned.
I learned a lot from the training, and I was impressed by the military culture and their discipline.
Panda triplets in China, currently the world's only panda trio, have celebrated their 3rd birthday. The triplets, Meng Meng, Shuang Shuang, and Kuku, were given special birthday treats as part of celebrations. The unique panda triplets were born in Chimelong Safari Park in China. Although they faced difficulties in their early developmental stages, the panda triplets made it to their 3rd birthday in excellent physical condition. They defied their weak birth weight, with the 3 of them now all exceeding 90 kilograms.
We have made many efforts to look after them since they were born. We assigned an experts team right after their birth. Now they are in excellent physical condition, with good fur, mental ability, and appetite.
As young pandas, the triplets are still living in the panda village.
The panda siblings are very close with each other. They fight with each other for fun. At the moment, they do not have any problems dealing with each other, but we will separate them once they gain a strong sense of self-awareness.
For the past 27 years, China has devoted itself to United Nations peacekeeping missions. In Lebanon, Chinese peacekeepers are risking their lives to save others by surveying minefields along the Israel-Lebanon border.
Difficult terrain, high temperatures, thistles and thorns, poisonous snakes and mines that might explode anytime, anywhere. It is a treacherous trip along the Israel-Lebanon border, known as the Blue Line, where mines are believed to have been planted. The group of peacekeepers, who are engineers specialized in mine clearance, is tasked with surveying a field with 163 blue buckets or boundary markers. They will check whether the barbed wires remain intact, whether the warning signs have lost, and whether the labels on the blue buckets are clear. Though they don't have to clear mines, the mission is still very dangerous.
The path you can see over there is often used by wolves and porcupines. Actually, they walk along the path each day. When we are clearing the mines, we also walk on the path. The wolves might attack us. The environment is hostile in the border areas, with poisonous rattlesnakes and other animals that might hurt people. They pose a grave threat to us.
In the past 10 years, Chinese peacekeepers have disposed of tens of thousands of landmines and unexploded bombs and extended the mine-free area near the Blue Line by some 2 million square meters. They are thus seen as the most efficient mine disposal team in the United Nations interim force in Lebanon. Lebanese Defense Minister Yaqub Saraf has highly praised the contribution of the Chinese peacekeepers in the region. The minister made the remarks on the reception in the Chinese embassy in Lebanon to celebrate the 90th birthday of the Chinese People's Liberation Army.
The military existence of the Chinese forces in southern Lebanon had reinforced the neutrality of this region. We're proud of the contributions made by Chinese peacekeepers in this region.
Meanwhile, the first-level hospital of the 16th Chinese Peacekeeping Force provides free services to Lebanon's people, as well as Palestinian and Syrian refugees, offering medical treatment to everyone who was checked at the sentry.
The Chinese contingent is executing firmly the tasks assigned to it by the UNIFIL command and is contributing in enhancing peace and the livelihoods of the locals, and securing a calm and peaceful atmosphere for the locals, and thereby earned the respect and gratitude of the Southerners in particular and the Lebanese in general.
UN official statistics show that China currently contributes more than 2,500 people to UN's peacekeeping missions. On average, China contributes more troops to UN peacekeeping missions than any other permanent member of the UN Security Council.
More news from China. Several institutions have raised their forecast for China's economy, noting that China remains a powerful engine of global economy.
China reported 6.9% GDP growth for the first half of 2017, exceeded the 6.7% rise in 2016, beat the consensus of forecasters. The IMF saw China's 2017 growth at 6.7%, 0.1 percentage points higher than its last estimate. It showed the fund's confidence in Chinese economy, considering solid first quarter underpinned by previous policy easing and supply-side reform. JP Morgan and Nomura Securities also raised their annual growth forecast to 6.8% from 6.7%, while Citigroup and Standard Chartered Bank revised up their 2017 projection by 0.2 percentage points to 6.8%. JP Morgan says the expanding consumption and services industries, as well as increasing private investment in China, will boost growth. The Asian Development Bank revised China's growth up to 6.7% this year and 6.4% next year. He says increases in both domestic consumption and foreign trade helped promote China's economic outlook, which came as a result of a steady rise in both personal income and public spending. Ratings agency Moody's said credit trends for most of its rated non-financial Chinese companies are stable. Those in the retail sector will face weak but improving credit conditions. Revenue growth of IT companies will slow but remain stable, supported by steady consumer demand and improved monetization. Automakers and auto services companies will face the same situation due to reduced vehicle purchase tax incentives. Despite slowing sales growth on home purchase curbs, the credit profiles of property developers will improve, with major companies able to increase their market share. Construction and engineering companies will see moderate revenue increases and stable leverage due to solid domestic and overseas infrastructure investment, as well as a large order backlog for existing property projects. Moody's also expected the credit trends of companies in oil and utilities to remain stable. China will develop green manufacturing in the Yangtze River Economic Belt to reduce pollution and boost economic growth. The Ministry of Industry and Information Technology and other departments have released guidelines. According to the guidelines, the total of industrial output of green manufacturing in the region will reach $742 billion by 2020. China will help create 500 green manufacturing demonstration plants, 15 industrial zones, and promote over 5,000 green products. Meanwhile, energy consumption, pollutant emission, and water consumption will be lowered markedly compared with 2015. Sectors in the region burdened with excess capacity such as steel and cement will not increase output. The Yangtze River Economic Belt, which accounts for more than 40% of both the national population and GDP, is a new growth engine for the country.
For centuries, lighthouses have been the eyes of the sea, guiding ships and sailors home. Keeping them going is the ancient profession of lighthouse keeping.
Dotted among the 1,400 islands in Zhoushan, 12 lighthouses shine bright like jewels on the shore. The one on Baiji Island had been kept by the same family since Qing Dynasty. Now 29-year-old Ye Chaoqun is the 5th generation of his family to work on the island. Summer means early mornings for Chaoqun. Every summer day at 4:30 a.m., Chaoqun gets up and walks to the lighthouse to turn off the light. The lighthouse is built in 1883 by British workers. Despite having been through several maintenance and repair, its core function and appearances remains unchanged till this day. Chaoqun's great-grandfather, Lai Ron, started the family tradition of lighthouse keeping. It was a very profitable job in his time, so generations after generations stayed. Chaoqun studied human resource management at university and served 2 years in the military before he decided to follow in the family tradition.
I wouldn't have considered a career like this if not for my grandfather. This place has great sentimental value for him.
Chaoqun's grandfather, Zhong Yang, took over the family job when he was 20. However, fate played a cruel joke on him. Not long after, the shipwreck took the lives of his wife and daughter while they were on their way to visit him.
It must have been a really big blow. This is why I really admire my grandpa. I don't think I could handle it if I were in that position. I wouldn't be able to work this job after I've lost my family to the sea.
Grandpa Ye did not abandon his job. Instead, he asked to be transferred to the uninhabited Baiji Island.
No one lives on the island. You can see 3-4 people a day.
Loneliness is the biggest enemy of any lighthouse keeper. Light on at dusk and lights off at dawn. Chaoqun's been doing the same job day after day for 4 years. During the day, Chaoqun does some regular checkups, such as making sure the backup power generator still works and the brass equipment hasn't rusted.
At first, it's a bit tedious, but I've got used to it. Now I actually think it's quite relaxing. Everyone cooks together, and we got talk, for a bit at lunch. There's only 4 of us, so there isn't really that much to talk about.
The job is not the only thing keeping Chaochen on the island. He believes his persistence helps people travel safely and that more people can be spared the pain of losing a loved one to the sea. With new technologies of today, lighthouses no longer run on diesel. Instead, they are all connected to the power grid and can be controlled remotely, making this a dying profession. Speaking of his future, Chaochen says he will open a lighthouse-themed hotel if his job becomes obsolete one day. But until then, he will stay right where he is.
It's my job to keep the light shining.
云天无际，承载梦想。中国南方航空是中国运输飞机最多、航线网络最发达、年客运量最大的航空公司。亚洲第一，全球第3，是南航缔造的业界奇迹。蓝天壮志情，云海谱华章。
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group.
投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
Hi, this is Little Chinese Channel, 小小中文, Lesson 44. In this lesson, we will be learning these 5 radicals. For the first radical, we use a dot, another dot, finally a horizontal stroke with a hook at the end. This radical is called 宝盖头, 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 宝盖头. Comes from the character 宝, which means something that is important to you. 宝盖头 is often at the top of a character. Here are some examples of what 宝盖头 can make. For the next radical, we use a dot, a stroke that looks like a small 3, and a stroke like this. This radical is called 走之底, 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 走之底. Comes from the character 走, which means walk. This character is often at the bottom left of a character. Look how many characters 走之底 can make. For the third radical, you use a stroke like this, and another stroke that looks like that. Finally, an upward stroke. This radical is called 绞丝旁, 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 绞丝旁. Comes from the character 丝, which means silk. This radical is often at the left of a character. 绞丝旁 is a building block of these characters. For the next radical, you use a downstroke to the left, a horizontal stroke, a downstroke to the left, and a downstroke to the right. This radical is called 反文旁,反文旁,反文旁,反文旁 comes from the character 文, which means literature. Here are some characters that 反文旁 can make. For the last radical, we use a dot and 3 more dots. This radical is called 四点底,四点底,四点底,四点底 comes from the character 火, which means fire. Notice how these 4 dots look like little fire. This radical is often be at the bottom of a character, and all the characters that 四点底 can make are mostly related with fire. Here are some characters that 四点底 can make. Okay, that's right. Remember when you're writing to follow the stroke sequence. 宝盖头，走之底，绞丝旁，反文旁，四点底。Goodbye, the lesson is done.